Wow, guys, over 1,000 views. Thank you so much. With that said, it's time for part 2 of What If Deku Was the Only Boy in Luna Nova. Now, I told you that Deku was arriving in Luna Nova a month after his wife, and since that is the case, not much is going to be changed for the first month, short of this little scene. Akka was helping Susei look for mushrooms in the forest in exchange for some tutoring. In Akka's bag is a book labeled Mushrooms for Dummies. She wasn't quite mad at that since she didn't know much about foraging anyway. Akko had fallen in a mud pit and was now filthy. Her mushrooms were still protected, however. She walks around without direction and finds a glade with a pool of water. Great, I can clean up now. Off go Akko's clothes and she hops in, taking the shiny rod with her, of course. Not long afterwards, was Akko granted a lovely vision. From the water, out rises Diana in all her glory. Akko was awestruck. Diana's eyes met Akko's. Like I said, Diana was having a dip in this lovely pool in the glade. So, no necklace. Akko's eyes are assailed by the unbridled truth. You're an Diana shushes Akko and gives her a death glare. You will tell no one. Am I clear, Miss Kaguri? Akko shakes her head. So Diana was an elf. That explains why she was so pretty. Listen, Akko. This glade is sacred to me. Please, just don't defile it. Akko understands. In exchange for keeping her secret for now, Diana agreed to be more friendly towards Akko. Something to which she was only being really, mean to her because she was chosen by the shiny rod. I mean, Akko loves magic, no doubt about that. But her happy-go-lucky attitude was trying Diana's patience. Fate Deku a few days before he arrives at Luna Nova. A group of knights were doing battle with a giant monster. No, not even knights is putting it lightly. These ain't knights. These are soldiers. And the giant monster in question, a cockatrice, to be more specific. Don't let My Little Pony fool you. A cockatrice is terrifying and huge. We're talking a big daddy cockatrice. That thing in that show is nothing in comparison. But back to the point. Deku had arrived on the scene and asked for a sit rep. Sir, we've managed to contain it in the area for now, but we're running low on anti-petrifying potion. We've set up barricades, but if this keeps up, it will surely reach town. Well, they couldn't have that now, could they? If you're wondering why a wizard is responding to something like this, he's the only magic knight in the area at the moment, and sadly enough, one of him is equal to a squad of magic knights. So, guess what needs to happen before he can go to school with his lovely wife? The barricade was holding strong and would have continued to hold just fine if not for the windstorm picking up. We gotta handle this before the storm gets worse and undoes the barrier. I did not misspeak there. Barricade is a series of barrier runes. Unfortunately, it wasn't all that powerful. The mage's tower in the village didn't have that many mages to spare in the first place. And the mage's stone
for the area was pretty much on its last legs. The surrounding forest is filled with beasties, but ones these size are rare to leave their domain. The soldiers knew the drill. Avoid eye contact, don't get breathed on, and make sure your potion is currently in effect. Like I said, this lot are not knights, they are soldiers. That doesn't mean they have no magical prowess, however. They just aren't, well, mages of well repute, or knights. Silva, go take a small group and prepare the town for evac. If any resist, put them to sleep and carry them out if you must. Silva was about to protest, leaving Izuku, but then we hear a sound that Kamen Rider Wizard fans are familiar with. Shabba touch the Henshin. Land, police, do 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 do. The few mages there were bow before him and the soldiers salute. Get up and do your jobs, please. I can't do this alone. For those of you who don't know Kamen Rider Wizard, he's lying. He could do it at this stage, but it would be a total pain. Silva uses her focal ring to cast a somewhat weaker version of the Connect spell to get to town, that we're going to call Futo. The mage presence is weak here because they choose to protect a wealthier Zalame city. That's about 30 minutes away from Futo. They wanted Wizard to defend Salome as well, but they can't exactly tell him what to do. I tip my hat to you if you get the references. The mages and soldiers knew they were cannon fodder, which is why they bowed in thanks when Wizard appeared before him. He'd have to make a point to create a better mage's tower in this area and take control himself if he needs to. However, to do that effectively, he'd have to step into the light, and that was a decision he will not make on his own. He would talk with his family on that. His pull as wizard will have to suffice for now. Unfortunately, the storm had begun, and it was a doozy. He wouldn't be having any backup from the mages since they were too busy chanting to empower the barriers. Said barriers would provide precious time since this clearing is not even 10 minutes away from Futo. Wondering why I put Wizard in land form? He's immune to petrification while in that form, or at least I'm pretty sure he is. Can't really petrify a rock, now can you? Wizard ordered for cover fire, to which the soldiers gladly gave. Some are using wands, and some are using magic swords, and even bows. He was impressed by their armaments. Bind, please. With the creature bound, the assault began in earnest. Izuku was immune, so he went in all in. Big police. Wizard's arm had grown, and he had slammed down on the cockatrice's head. It did not like that. The creature desperately thrashed about in an attempt to escape, and since I can't let this be easy, escape it did. The mages and his backup simultaneously ran out of mana. The barriers were gone just as he had predicted would happen. He's firing from his sword gun as best he can, but that thing is fast. Connect, police. With that, Wizard had summoned Machine Winger. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's his bike. Just as the last person was evacuated, albeit forcibly so, the cockatrice could be heard in the distance. Come on, Izuku. You can do this, Silva said with the utmost faith. Izuku was cursing under his breath. Whether or not the town had been evacuated, he couldn't just let it get destroyed. He had to take this thing down and was running out of time. Light, please. With that, the beast was blinded, and there's where I'm gonna do something that Haruto can't exactly do. Dragon Rise! A dragon came from within the wizard's infused with machine wing, causing it to take flight, and wizard prepared another attack. Very nice. Kiku strike. The blast! Yes, I translated that. That attack ended the cockatrice about 500 feet before it got to town. He took that sucker out with seconds to spare, and then his henshin came undone. Izuku passes out on the ground. It is found soon after by Silva. I knew you could do it. Silva kisses him on the cheek before grabbing him and heading off. They were thanked immensely when Izuku came to. However, he says he was just doing his job. By the end of the week, Izuku and Silva received a squad of 6 competent replacement knights. Silva, do you know what this means? He smiled. That we finally get to go to school and have a semi-normal teen life? She was right on the money on that one, and was smiling as well. With that, the two would make their way to their new school, Luna Nova. Luna Nova wasn't a girls' academy per se. It just hadn't housed a male student in quite some time. As a matter of fact, there were an odd number of students. If you don't know this little factoid, Luna Nova has students in pairs of 3. There wasn't even any lodging available for Izuku and Silva. Good thing they have 2 things normal people don't have. A magic castle and a connect spell. Considering the importance of such an event and that Izuku is the magic knight known as Wizard, an assembly is held to introduce him. Hello everyone. I am Izuku Midoriya. As of today, I shall study alongside you. Some girls were shocked and a few were outraged. 2 such girls are going to be Hannah and Barbara. They just don't like the idea of a boy going to the school. Izuku goes on to explain that he's from a very, very high up family within the magical world. Diana doubles down on this statement. Izuku, what took you so long? She grabs Izuku's hand and whispers, I missed you, love. That got a big smile out of Izuku. With the fact that the teachers and Diana were supporting Izuku meant that, well, this Izuku Midoriya boy was kind of a big deal. I know what you're thinking. Didn't they get married in the last part? Yes, they did. But she's enrolled under the name Cavendish for now. They thought it would be good to at least wait for Izuku to be there before dropping that specific tidbit to the world. Diana was holding on to Izuku's hand for longer than necessary, however, and she noticed that. The next few days went well, except for the fact that certain undergarments are going missing. Needless to say, there was a lynch mob out for Izuku's head. All girls, with the exception of Diana, Silva, and Akko, who had been clued in by Diana since she already knew their biggest secret, were shooting Izuku death glares and calling him pervert. After 3 days of this, he had enough and had an assembly called. Izuku stepped on the stage. Look, I know what you all think I did, but I didn't do it. If I wanted panties, I'd have a very beautiful wife I can ask for hers, he said before kissing Diana, who kissed back and placed a ring on her finger where it belonged. How stupid do you think I am, anyway? If I were to do that, I would be the first to be blamed, you numpties. Also, something of mine that is far more precious than your silly little undergarments has gone missing. Gems from my father's shrine have gone missing from my locker, and anyone who knows a lock-picking spell could have done that. I shall give the perpetrator until the end of the day. I don't care about your missing panties. They can be replaced. However, if those blood gems aren't back where they belong, by the end of the day, I will find you and make it my mission to end you. To be clear, those gems are exactly what they sound like. They contain a small, and I do mean small, amount of Haruto's blood. The specific gems are rather small and were adorned on a photo frame. Izuku was crying at that last part, and his wife was consoling him while angrily looking at the crowd. The constant stream of knowledge was a little bit much for the girls to handle. The teachers already knew all of this, of course. The day's end had been met, and his gems were nowhere to be seen. Crack on, please. Unicorn, please. Garuda, please. Izuku gave them the search order, and his familiars were off. Hannah and Barbara were the first to apologize to Izuku. However, he wasn't hearing it at the moment. Someone had desecrated his father's shrine, and he would have blood. There were more incidents of lockers being broken into, but unlike Izuku, the items stolen were mere baubles at best. Mere shiny baubles. That's when Izuku did the math with Silva and Diana on the trend. Cloth for warmth, Silva stated. Shiny items missing, Diana added. Claw marks found on the scene. That's when all three came to the same conclusion. These crimes weren't being done by a human, but a critter. Izuku ordered Silva to investigate the claw marks. Some teachers didn't like that, however, but she was there on authority of wizards, so they had to deal with that. A spell was cast to find a trace of animal DNA, and it went to work. A few minutes later, a stray hair was found. Great. A hell lynx. Together, the three managed to fashion a tracking spell and worked rather well. Laying in a nest of plundered material was one jet black hell lynx. The girls had, and by the girls I do not mean Diana or Silva. He was being followed by a few other girls. So back to the point. They yell out about their stuff foolishly, and that's when the lynx pounces. It's going to strike at, let's go with Amanda O'Neil. And that is where Izuku is forced to let out yet another secret. At least his racial secret was still intact. Shabba-dabba-touch the head, she flame, please. He. Wondering why he's in flame mode? He's not trying to kill the lynx. It's done nothing wrong short of being a thieving cat. Bind, please. Sleep, please. Now, I know that this is a self-cast spell, but we're going to change that for this. The once big lynx shrank to reveal that it was, in fact, a kitten. Its mother was most likely dead. The teachers were going to send it away, but Diana was having none of that. Honey, can we keep it? Izuku gave her the your responsibility spiel, and Diana agreed. He handed her a ring, and she channeled mana through it and cast a spell to bind the lynx as her familiar. Diana named the lynx Kuro. Said lynx would now follow both Diana and Izuku's orders. They have a pet now. They have to housebreak it, unfortunately. Good thing that Castle Magus is smack dab in the middle of that glade I mentioned earlier.